The Marianas Trench is a crescent-shaped trench in the Pacific Ocean and is known to be the world's deepest trench, measuring 35,000 feet deep, according to research conducted by the Center of Coastal and Ocean Mapping. For a bit of context, if Mount Everest was placed into Marianas Trench, then the peak would still be 2 kilometers underwater, displaying just how big this trench is. Some people may see space as the final frontier of human exploration, but the reality is, we still know very little about our oceans and probably more so about space. The trench is over 1,500 miles long and 43 miles wide, providing a hugely vast area for the scientists to research. It's also important to take into account the water pressure in the trench, which reaches 1,000 times higher than normal sea pressure. The pressure is so high that unless an animal or technology has been specialized and designed to withstand it, it would be crushed in seconds. Combined with an average temperature of just 1 degree Celsius, it's no wonder why the trench is steeped in mystery. The potential of what lurks beneath the surface of the waters is unclear in the Marianas Trench, and it makes for compelling research that many academic and educational centers alike spend lifetimes researching. The Marianas Trench is not only mysterious, but for some, incredibly exciting. Here are 5 of the strangest mysteries of Marianas Trench. Number 5. One of the biggest mysteries facing scientists is a 3.5 second long noise that has been recorded multiple times throughout the years since 2014. Many scientists think that the noise could be coming from a minke whale, but the problem is that scientists still don't know a lot about minke whales either. The noise has been dubbed the Western Pacific Biotwang and is a super low frequency at 38 Hz to 8,000 Hz and sounds very similar to an effect you would hear in Star Wars. Many scientists are still trying to figure out what the call means since whales have specific calls for breeding, feeding, etc. The problem is that the call has been observed all year round by passive acoustic ocean gliders, which act as earwings along the trench, capturing any noise or conversations between animals. Since the noise has been observed year-round, it's left scientists scratching their heads as to what the purpose of the call could be. It seems that much more research is needed into the sound before we truly know its purpose. Take a listen to the sound and see what you think. Number 4. Due to the pressure being so high in the trench, expeditions have to be carefully planned with a lot of work going into the design of underwater vehicles so that they can withstand the force. That being said, you can plan for water pressure and cold temperatures, but one thing scientists might not have planned for is the horrific sea creatures they discover on their missions. The deep-sea dragonfish looks like something straight out of a nightmare, and not like a fish at all. It's only about 6 inches long, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in scare factor. This species of dragonfish is the only known species that can create light on its own through a process called bioluminescence, which is a reaction between chemicals that take place in the bodies of the fish. Once these chemicals are mixed in the presence of oxygen, light is produced, giving the dragonfish its very own lampshade attached to its head. Despite being a fish, the dragonfish doesn't have any scales and is said to resemble an eel in appearance, with scientists still asking the question of why. We know that the dragonfish uses its bioluminescence to hunt prey and navigate around the dark ocean trench, but little else is known about them. Scientists have no idea on the breeding patterns or even how they breed, since they live 5,000 feet into the trench. Little information is known about the lifespan of the dragonfish, making them one of the biggest animal mysteries within the Marianas Trench. Number 3. Volcanoes are scary enough when you're above ground with the potential to erupt at any moment and cause a major disaster. Volcanoes aren't just exclusive to the biodiversity of land though, with Marianas Trench seeing more than its fair share of mud volcanoes. The volcanoes are formed where the Pacific tectonic plate rubs against the Philippine Sea tectonic plate, causing pieces of mud and rocks to heat up and be expelled. Oliver Plumper, who is an earth scientist in the Netherlands, said you could think of this organic matter trapped within a rock a bit like a message in a bottle. With warm temperatures being brought to the deepest corners of the Marianas Trench, it also brings along the possibility of different life forms. there's research to suggest that there's a microbial life thriving in the conditions of the volcanoes compared to the chilly 1°C water. If scientists can further study this, it could be an insight into the world's most isolated ecosystem and prove theories that could help scientists figure out the secrets of life in space and other planets. The research will also provide further insights into how organisms can survive, even in the most hostile habitats on Earth. This is another hint at the great deep biosphere of our planet. It could be huge or very small, but something is going on that we don't understand yet, is a quote from Oliver Plumper from the National Geographic article titled, "These may be the deepest traces of life on Earth." The link between the depths of the ocean and space lies in how these environments can provide vital nutrients and support to allow organisms to live. Much like the Mariana Trench, Jupiter's moon, Europa, and Saturn's moon are full of pockets of ice and cold oceans, much like the trench. If further research reveals life being able to survive, it could support theories about life on other planets, even on the microbial level. Number 2. There's a vast region of the sea that's 20,000 feet deep, down to the very ocean floor, that still much is unknown about. Known as the Hadal Zone, it's named after Hades, who's the Greek god of the underworld, a very fitting namesake for a place so unhospitable that more people have traveled to the moon than they have to these darkest depths of the ocean. There are only 3 people who are known to have ever made it to the bottom of Mariana's Trench: 2 French scientists in the 1960s, and the Titanic director James Cameron. The pressure is so strong that it's near impossible for humans and even machinery to withstand it. The pressure is equivalent to 100 elephants standing on your head, which is why it's no surprise that we don't know about Mariana's Trench at all. With the deepest part of Mariana's Trench being 35,000 feet deep, it's possible that within the Hadal Zone, there are even more mysteries than we know of. According to scientists, there is another 45 deep ocean trenches just like Mariana's Trench, and that's only the projected number. Until technology advances and we can produce machinery that can withstand high pressure and freezing temperatures, it's likely we'll never know the truth about what's lurking in the ocean depths. Number 1. Plastic waste is currently one of the biggest topics in today's news, with governments pledging new environmental initiatives and companies coming up with new eco-friendly ways to make packaging and products. We all know that oceans and other bodies of water around the world are becoming infested with plastic waste that don't just degrade and can have potentially very harmful consequences on wildlife that live in water, as well as humans. Even though we've barely begun to scratch the surface of the Mariana's Trench, Victor Vescovo was exploring part of the trench in 2019 when he came across plastic sweet wrappers. That means humans have managed to penetrate even the most desolate parts of the ocean with harmful plastic waste. National Geographic reveals that this isn't the first or even the second time that plastic waste has been found in the trench, but in fact the third. A plastic shopping bag, much like those from supermarkets or clothes stores, were found in the trench, and scientists are puzzled as to how it made its way into the very depths of the ocean. Disturbingly, National Geographic research has shown that animals living in the trenches are now eating microplastics, as well as consuming the potentially harmful chemicals that leak out of plastic after it's submerged in water for quite some time. More than 80% of animals that were tested were found to have plastic fibers and particles within their digestive system, something that scientists have labeled as the hindgut, which carries very serious consequences. If the food chains at the depths of the ocean became altered, it could only be a matter of time before others are disrupted. The greatest mystery is how could humans let this happen, and how did plastic make it to the bottom of the deepest parts of the ocean? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. If you loved it, maybe consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.